Okay, Wes, the beards are trimmed, the teeth are polished, according to Paul H, and we're here. Everyone, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for waiting around. And yeah, welcome to the FPL Double Up podcast on Fantasy Football Hub. Wes, how have you been?
Yeah, all good, thanks, John. How about yourself?
I'm good. Disclaimer to everyone watching. Not that I always fire on all cylinders, but today I'm definitely not. I had a rough night duty last night, and I'm only out of my bed about 20 minutes ago, so I'm absolutely bait. So you're going to have to carry me.
I'll try. I'll try my best, John.
But we have a few things to chat about first. I suppose first I want to say happy Thanksgiving to all our US listeners and watchers. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you have a nice time.
Yeah.
It's not something we really care for here, but hope you drank lots of eggnog, ate lots of turkey, and I hope you're dying today. Oh, here, there's a thing. Did you get on him for Black Friday?
Did they? Do they drink eggnog?
They do drink eggnog, don't they? That's like a Christmassy thing.
I have no idea. But I just seen someone else. I need to speak to Fergie about this because I reckon he must have done the old flipperoo to us, where we've tried to banter them off, and they've just got all their. They've got more viewers than us, so they're all coming on and giving us stick. Hi, Fergie and Adam.
Right.
So yeah, hi.
Hi, okay, look, do you know what it is? Everyone who catches this video, right? I mean, loads of you watching this after the fact. You're here, you're like watching this video, and I know you're sat there on your phone, you're thinking, do you know what? I'm not going to listen to what this guy says. Like, you've probably already skipped 10 seconds. Go over to the latest, like, FPL Green Arrow podcast and just comment under it saying, like, hi, John, hi, Wes, or something. Just something annoying. I don't know if we want to start this, but I've already started it. I'm not here.
Why not?
But, Wes, so there's that. Something else exciting happened this week, arguably more exciting than Thanksgiving. You were on the FPL show, the official one. You were on like TV.
I was, yeah. Went down to the studio in London. It was actually Stockley Park, which is where, when they talk about our VAR going to Stockley Park to make their decisions. So it was all part of that big sort of complex, sort of just outside London. So yeah, it was really good. Bumped into people like Ian Wright and Tim Sherwood, where I was just off to get my makeup done, and then crossed paths with Ian Wright, and we said hello to each other, which is
Did you get makeup done?
just like, yeah, a little bit. Like they put something under my
Really?
bags,
Bit of
and then
concealer.
bit of powder, yeah. So I could have done with some more, to be fair. I was hoping to go in looking like Gianni, but it didn't quite work out. But yeah, so yeah, a little bit, mate. But yeah, I was sat in that chair just thinking how weird it is. I've just walked past Ian Wright, and Ian Wright is on the phone in this little makeup room. I'm getting makeup done to go on the TV, and there's Ian Wright just casually there, and I'm here. It's just a weird scenario. But yeah, all good, and the FPL show went really well. Enjoyed it, and the guys there are really good fun, and just made me feel really comfortable. So yeah, all good.
That's brilliant. Do you reckon they'll have you back? Is that something that's confirmed ahead of time, or is that something you just wait for the call?
Yeah, not sure. I probably have to wait for the call, but yeah, hopefully get back on.
Fingers crossed. My own exciting news is that and we're going to talk FPL very shortly. I'm going to Barcelona next week.
Yeah, nice.
I'm going to see Barcelona versus Real Betis, and I got VIP tickets.
I was going to say you sitting in the. I knew the answer, but I was going to say are you sitting in the cheap seat, so you being a posh bastard. And that answer.
Apparently, I'm going to be sat where I can touch the subs bench.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Now this sounds like a bit of a brag, but it's not really. It's one of those where obviously, if people know my own YouTube, I do a lot of content around a certain thing, and they've helped me with tickets and things. So
yeah,
I'm just really excited, and I'm going to vlog the whole thing, and I'm going to make it's going to be my first piece of content I think that any football fan could watch. So I'll probably plug that in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
Keep your ears.
I was going to say if you're right behind the subs bench, then on the TV they always pan to the manager. Don't
Oh,
they?
you'll
So,
see me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll try and get some. I'll try and watch that game when it's on and take some pictures of the TV if I see you.
I'll get it recorded and go through it with a fine tooth comb when I get home, trying to find that shot. But yeah, so that's all our exciting stuff. Hello to everyone in the comments. There's a lot of people. I see Rubber Ducky quacking. Rich P's here. First in the comments, Paul H. Ed Startup is here. Ryan Stewart, Aman Khan, Nebras K. Buckers is in with his. He made the same joke twice. Buckers, do you know what? It isn't funny when you make it twice. He said hi Fergie and Adam twice.
Twice.
He thought I wasn't going to see it. I seen it both times. It hurt both times. Get out of here, Buckers. Sawyer Alex, it's Benji, the Discord moderator. God knows what Discord. FPL Sparta, Lafuno Stein, Robin, Nick, Huge, Albert, Paul, Michael. You're all here. Billy Brooks. Right, let's move on. FPL. Thank you so much, everyone, for all the comments. It's brilliant. So, Wes, we've a bit to talk about. We're going to have a look at the fixtures. Do you know? We've got 2 weeks to kind of talk about. We're going to talk about the midweek, 2 game weeks essentially. We're going to talk about the midweek next week and the weekend. Chilwell is obviously going to dominate quickfire questions if we do them, so let's talk about him.
Yeah.
We're going to have a look at Spurs and what to make of all that. We're going to have a look at our teams. We're going to have a look at captaincy, and we'll end with some quickfire questions. And something I want to throw at you straight off the bat, Wes, is your fall from glory. Your rank is slippity sliding, and I've nearly caught you. You were miles ahead. So
it is.
Yeah, talk to us. Talk to us about what's happened. Talk to us about the mentality. Talk to us how you're going to get it back. You went from what, 50k or even better?
I think it was like 53k, something like that, about 5 or 6 game weeks ago, and just 5 red arrows in a row. I guess the main things are not having the likes of Cancelo and Reece James, and also, which I could have been fine with, but I then ended up transferring out players who just smashed it hard. The weeks that Ronaldo and Gallagher went big, I transferred them out, and Gallagher then continued that week on week. And then the players I brought in have blanked. Took out Rudiger last week obviously missed out on his big score. Just not. Things aren't going well for me in terms of not quite getting the rub of the green. The sort of Mbeumo and Tony double up. Mbeumo gets hit the post, Tony with another offside goal. So little fine margins, and also some poor decisions on my part, of course. So a mixture of bad luck plus bad decisions equals huge rank drops.
At least you peaked. Yeah. I feel like I've just been up and down like a yo-yo, hovering around the kind of, I don't know, 400 or 500k mark. But look, last week was a good week. But I mean, I think for here, I suppose for you, it's for about not kind of panicking, going crazy, and just sort of consistently going. Because I think both of us now were around that 400k mark. It's no need. It's no worries. Do you know what I mean? The thing with FPL is, and albeit okay, maybe this won't get you top 10k, top 20k, but I mean, and you're aiming for that top 30k to keep your record going. But I think whenever double game weeks come up and planning and blank weeks and stuff like that, that's when you can really excel with a bit of planning. And things can change very quickly. In the next sort of 6 weeks, there's a lot of game weeks there to kind of catch up.
Yeah, I was still, I think you asked me earlier, I didn't really answer about sort of how I plan on getting back. But I'm still very confident of having a good finish and having a top finish. If you remember, I seem to bring this up all the time, but when I messed up my bench boost last year, I think it was roughly game week 18-ish, so much further on than we are now. I dropped to like 210k at that point. Okay, obviously not as bad as 388, but there's not that much in it. And 2 or 3 big good weeks, and you can get right back up there. You see loads of people do it each year. Myself, I have plenty of bad game weeks every season. This is just one of those. So just getting back on track now. Keep going, and I'm still confident of a top finish. What that looks like at the end of the season, but I'd be happy anywhere in the sort of top 30k for sure.
For everyone, Wes, you didn't see this, but I've been kind of like wrestling under my table. My dog is kind of he's very needy today. You can hear him shaking. He keeps coming in and he's like sitting on the Ethernet cable, and I'm afraid he's going to tug it out and my internet's going to go. So I'm like trying to block him off. But anyway, really wee bad. I can't say the bad word. I actually did really well there.
Well done.
But Wes, so you've dropped a bit, I'm up a bit, and it's fair to say that if anything, the sort of forfeit for the end of the season, it's right in the balance now. We can properly, unbiasedly sort of talk about it. We should have done a pre-season, we didn't, but we need to get that sorted ASAP. I think we've just set up our little league of me and you just to kind of track that. But we'll keep an eye. So, will we have a look at some fixtures, or what do you want to do?
Let's get the fixtures up and have a look at that.
Okay, let's see. We'll go over here, and there's the fixtures. Now, I've had to make this a little bit wider than it'll look grand. Everyone can read it. So Leicester are at the top now. West Ham are at the bottom. Chelsea are kind of mid-table-ish. I'm just looking at teams that I remember kind of being towards the top or bottom yesterday. Chelsea have moved up a bit, if I'm right. City are down a bit. Liverpool.
Yeah.
But we're kind of looking at game week 13 and 14 here more than anything, aren't we?
And do you know what I'm going to do next week when I produce this graphic? So this is from Hub, and what you can do, I also made this just 5 game weeks just to narrow it in a little bit. What you can do is you can also organise it by the sort of predicted result. So for example, if say when City, even let's say someone like City or Chelsea, even when they have tough fixtures, they'll be bumped higher to the top because they're almost expected to win tough fixtures, and vice versa for the team. So it maybe gives a bit more better overview, if you know what I mean, rather than having teams like, you wouldn't want to bring in a Burnley player over the likes of a Man City player just because they're slightly higher on this list. But it is a good rule of thumb, this. So, yeah, good to see some teams up there. Like, obviously, Spurs are still up there, and especially the next 3 or 4 for those of us who have gambled with the likes of Son or Kane. Maybe it's what I feel like with Son and Kane. I've got Kane. But maybe it's a case now of, because they are looking poor, they had a poor Europa League game, blah, blah, blah. Maybe it's one of those where if you've got one of them, keep hold. I know you've got Son, John, and I've got Kane, so we probably want to hold for this period. If you haven't got them, they're obviously really expensive, and maybe it's not a time to rush to get them. And you can ride it out. I don't think then maybe it's going to punish people as much as people thought, even last week. So maybe it's a case of don't buy, don't sell. I don't know if you'd agree with that, John, or disagree.
Well, I think what I said whenever Conte came in, the reason I didn't go for Reguilon, which obviously I think he got a goal or an assist last week, didn't he?
Got the goal, yeah.
But the reason I was kind of hesitant to get involved was because I sort of said, like, let's see what happens. Let's give Conte a bit of time to bed in. Let's see what happens with this team.
Yeah.
And I think it's, with that result in Europe, albeit I didn't even see the team. I'm assuming maybe they rotated in some.
Yeah, it looks. I think again, I can't remember the exact team on the top of my head, but it's almost like they're bench players from the Premier League game players. So it wasn't like the under-23s played or like really obscure players. It was like players just on the fringe plus Kane. So it wasn't their first 11, of course. So hopefully those guys, the first 11 could come back in. And therefore, that's better for the likes of Son and Kane if the first 11 is playing, because they got a good result against. Well, it's not. Leeds are playing pretty poor this season, so to scrape a 2-1 win versus them isn't the best, is it? But yeah, it was a change side, but it wasn't a really weak side by any stretch of the imagination. People like Doherty played, people like Dele Alli and Ndombele played. So yeah.
Bottom line for me is, I think as you kind of said, I'm going to keep who I have, but I'm not going chasing at the minute.
Yeah.
I'm just going to wait and see. I mean, the fixtures are okay. They're actually pretty good. I'll definitely give Son till Norwich, but I mean, like, I'm not going to be angling to get Kane in. Like, nah. Just nah. Like, they're just too inconsistent. And I know, and as was said, it was bench players and whatever else there, but I mean, losing like that in Europe to a team that just should not be anywhere close to your level. I haven't checked it. I follow all sorts of football. You know that, Wes. I never even heard of them. Like,
I think they're the lowest ranked in the Europa Conference League, which is obviously saying something, and they are currently 5th in the Slovenian league, so they're not even top 4 of the Slovenian league. So yes, Spurs. I think any English Championship team should be destroying them, really.
Yeah.
And apparently, sorry, just one last thing. Apparently, that Spurs performance was shocking. All like the commentators who watched it, the pundits, and people I know have seen it were like it was just a disgrace from some of those players. So yeah.
Your man O'Hara, who's he? Is it Jamie or
yeah.
I don't know.
No, it was him, and I saw that clip as well. Yeah,
he was not happy. Like, and apparently there was no one really jumping to argue with him. Everyone was kind of saying, "Do you know what? He's nailed it here." Apparently they were absolutely brutal. But
yeah,
I suppose the only one there outside Kane and Son people might have who they're thinking about, or the name I keep seeing thrown out there is Reguilon. Do you know?
Yeah.
And I it's one of those, and I'm loath to say trap, right? I don't want to say that, but everyone, whenever Conte came in, was like, fullbacks. He's going to push his fullbacks up, and Reguilon and Doherty or Emerson are going to be great, right? That's what the talk was. The talk was Conte's coming in. He loves that. Them guys are going to be great. And maybe I'm just being cynical, but it kind of has went that way in the fact that Reguilon got his first Premier League goal. But part of me is almost like, that could just be variance, and now everyone's going to believe it, and now everyone's going to pile into Reguilon, and I genuinely don't know if that's enough for me to be like, yeah, do you know what, this guy's going to become an Alonso, a Cancelo, a Trent, a James, a Chilwell. And again, I know it's over cynical. The bottom line is everyone was saying that he scored the goal, and I'm still cynical. I'm just afraid there. Like, I would not be jumping into Reguilon personally. I mean, the fixtures are good. And maybe he is actually a decent shout for a Chilwell replacement, and that's something we'll get on to. And he's cheap enough as well, which is brilliant. So he is definitely a fair pick, and I wouldn't criticise anyone who does. But for me, I'm just like, Spurs just look too all over the gaff at the minute, and
Yeah.
personally, I don't want to be ahead of the trend. I just want to like see what the story is in 2 more weeks, and then have a look. Like if Reguilón gets an assist next week, or they keep another clean sheet or 2 or whatever else, and okay, yeah, look, do you know what it is? Maybe I should have bought him 2 weeks ago, but I'd rather be in the position of like I should have got him 2 weeks ago. I can get him now for this Norwich game, as opposed to getting him now and then kind of just them fizzling out a bit.
And there's in terms of our defenders, we all want Trent, we all want Cancelo, we all want Reece James, and then you've got budget options like Livramento there that are still good options. And even so, last week I had a decision to make, and Reguilón was in my considerations, but I decided to go Duffy just because I kind of like to have either the premium defenders in and play them week in, week out, or I like to have those slightly cheaper ones. And Duffy saved me sort of 0.7 on Reguilón, and I can bench him more often than play him. Where if I'm going to be benching someone like Reguilón a lot at that price, I prefer to have just someone slightly cheaper who can offer similar returns, I think. And also, just I don't really trust Spurs for clean sheets too much at the minute, and that was kind of backed up. Even Leeds scored against them, and Leeds were without Rafinha, without Bamford, without Rodrigo, so without their best 3 attacking players probably, and they still managed to score. So I think with Reguilón, and like I say, he's getting forward more in that system. He's getting a lot higher up, and he's spoke about how he sees his role as getting goals now in that new role as wing back. But there's one thing wants to do and actually pulling it off. I know he scored at the weekend, but I don't think he's not going to get the sort of attacking returns as those Trent, Cancelos, and Reece Jameses will. So there's going to be a lot of blanks from Reguilón, I feel, even with the good fixtures. And good fixtures soon run out, don't they? 3 or 4 game weeks down the line, it's almost like, oh shit, I've got Reguilón, and I don't want to play him in any of these fixtures because they've got tougher.
Yeah, I don't know. I think for me, I'm just going to see what happens with them. But moving on from them, Leicester are at the top of this. I'm not seeing too many Leicester players be talked about an awful lot. Is there anyone at Leicester that jumps out at you?
I think I got rid of Vardy last week, and I did consider keeping him because I looked ahead of the Chelsea game and thought they're really nice fixtures for the 4 or 5 afterwards. And you know what, Vardy could do well, and good luck to him. But at Vardy's price of sort of 10.5-ish, and he just wasn't getting, like, he wasn't only blanking and say, hitting the post or getting unlucky or blah blah blah. He's actually, like, if you look at his shot stats, he's not taken any shots in the last sort of 4 or 5 weeks. Which obviously means if you don't shoot, you don't score, do you? Cliche, but true. Vardy just wasn't appealing to me anymore. Just like I couldn't have that much money in a player that wasn't performing despite the fixtures coming up good. And yes, like I said, he could turn it around, but I wasn't going to sit around and wait for Vardy to turn it around in some decent fixtures. So whatever he gets, he gets. Other than that, their defence is really poor this season, Leicester. So you don't want any of their defenders or goalkeeper. Midfielders, Tielemans is out. Barnes and Maddison, Apache, and Minutes Apache. So I don't think there's anyone you want from Leicester. I think the decision is, if you've kept Vardy this long, if you've kept him for the Chelsea game, it's almost like, can you really then transfer him out for the Watford game? I'd say yes, you could, but there's also a valid argument to hold Vardy now these fixtures are that good. Maybe again, like I said, for sort of Kane and Son, don't buy, don't sell sort of thing for Vardy now.
Yeah, a few people are singing Vardy's praises in the comments anyway. Just looking at the fixtures then, I mean, Burnley are up there. Cornet, he's been doing well. He got another goal, didn't he?
Interesting one. Cornet, he's had last 4 games, he's got 4 goals in 4 games, so brilliant finishing, but he's only taken 5 shots in that time. So he's actually scored from 80% of the shots he's taken, which is nuts. So you can read that one of 2 ways. You could read it as unsustainable because he's not got the volume to manage to score more goals. Or you could look at it as, if Burnley can create more chances for him, he could explode even further because he's obviously an elite finisher. I think we had a similar scenario with Hwang earlier on in the season where he was scoring from like every shot on target he was taking, basically. I do like, and if you look at Cornet, you watch him play, his finishing looks elite. You probably know more of him from obviously before he came to the Premier League, but just from watching him at Burnley, he does look like a very good player, and he's got the fixtures to potentially do the business. So he's one of those that I wouldn't put people off, but I just want people to be aware of that stat of not getting many shots away.
Yeah, no, I only really watched him at Lyon a bit, and he was quite an attacking wing back there. I think he was more of a wing back, but he's not really been played like that at Burnley. But
No,
I haven't watched much Burnley at all, to be honest with
yeah.
you.
Just if someone in the comments has been watching those games, because when the sort of live score or whoever put the formations up, it's like it's a 4-4-2 with Cornet up front with Wood. I don't know if that's how they've actually been playing or not, but it looks like he might be playing up front alongside Wood. Again, I haven't watched 90 minutes of Burnley week in, week
Yeah.
out and analysed them to the cows come home. Just quickly, John, to derail us slightly, there's someone in the comments, Sharap, saying he's 27th in the world, which is incredible. So well done to you. And he's asking if he should have Benteke over Pookie. We'll do questions later on, but I just wanted to shout him out because he's 27th in the world, which is
I thought it was a
it's
typo. It was too good.
insanely high. Yeah, maybe let's check who's 27th. If it's not his name, maybe he means 27k. Hopefully he's 27th.
Yeah,
But
that's
yeah,
amazing
just
if it is.
we'll carry on with some graphics for Chilwell replacements in a minute. But yeah, I'll just check the overall rankings. Can't see if
Um,
he's there.
but yeah, I think like Liverpool, City, obviously still quite high on this, which is great. And I have a lack of City exposure this season, and it's kind of getting to me. Like Foden there now, a bit of a doubt as well, isn't he?
Yes. So hopefully there's some news on him. I know a lot of people are thinking about changing to Jota
Yeah,
because Jota's slightly cheaper, and obviously with the Firmino injury and the African Cup of Nations stuff, it does make a lot of sense.
because I could go kind of Foden to Jota, and then go Chilwell to whoever, and then yeah, it would be quite nice for me. I almost kind of like whenever injuries dictate your transfers for you.
Yeah, yeah, I know what you mean. So I've obviously got Chilwell in my team, and I'm going to take him out. And in the last 3 or 4 weeks, everyone I've taken out has scored like double digits. So Chilwell literally can't punish me this week. So that is a nice feeling.
Yeah. But is there anything else in these fixtures you want to discuss?
No, let's move on to some Chilwell replacements and discuss the pros and cons. Or well,
Okay.
yeah, there's not many cons of them to be fair, but yeah, let's discuss who's maybe the best of the bunch.
So I've pulled up Reece James versus Chilwell. So this has kind of been a debate of the last few weeks. A lot of people might have had both. Now Chilwell is gone. I read rumored ACL potential.
Yeah,
Could
from
be out for a long time, which would just be grim for him. God love him, because like he hasn't exactly been lucky with injuries, has he?
yeah, no, it's been unfortunate. So from what I can gather, again, I've not fully updated on this, but it's almost like best case scenario, he's going to be missing for maybe 8 weeks, or worst case scenario, it's the season. But in terms of our, our FPL decision making, it's the same. If someone's out for 8 calendar weeks, they're going to probably miss 11 game weeks in this period, probably more. And you're not going to carry someone like that for that period of time. So regardless of whatever the news is confirmed, it seems like Chilwell's going to definitely be out long enough to deem him a transfer out regardless.
Well, just looking at these, Chilwell has had 3 games less, which definitely has to come into it.
Yeah.
But when you look at how well Reece James has done, I mean, it's kind of like for like in many respects. I mean, Reece James has arguably done better, but I think it's hard to tell whenever there's 3 more games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but if you just look at how Reece James has sort of got the better returns in terms of the 4 goals, 4 assists, but yeah, Chilwell, look at those sort of shot stats, and like you say, in 3 less games. And I think to be fair, with these stats aren't to be taken too literally, because some of those appearances for Reece James would have been bench appearances, or when he got sent off at half time or 45 minutes into the Liverpool game. So pinch of salt, just to highlight they've both done well, and I think that's an easy sideways sort of transfer, both priced similarly. If you've got 0 in the bank though, you won't be able to do it because Reece James is slightly more expensive, so you will need a zero point 0.1 or 0.2 to do it.
Um, I'm just looking at these because I'm thinking like who I'm going to go for Chilwell, and you obviously have to find a bit of money to find Reece James too, and that's going to be tough. Yeah, I don't know who comes in for Chilwell. We're probably talking Alonso, aren't we?
Yeah, so it looks like Alonso's going to come in. It's one of those where, and again, I'm not going to try and scare people with rotation talk, but it's like, Alonso's age, or is there other options there? Does Tuchel trust him in every game? And with the games coming thick and fast, will he share some game time with someone? I don't know is the answer. I think he probably has enough upside in his first. He played all 6 games at the start of the season. He got 4 clean sheets in that time, 1 goal, 1 assist. And was, shots in the box stats were good as well. So Alonso could almost be like having Chilwell in your teams, not quite as good, but is a little bit cheaper. And if he is nailed on, he's going to do well. And if is Alonso going to start 5 out of the next 6 games? I'd say probably. And he's got enough upside in terms of potential to score attacking returns that if he does get benched randomly one game week, you just take it on the chin and move on. So yeah, I definitely wouldn't put anyone else going Alonso at this point. If you've already got, if you've got Reece James, Cancelo, let's say your back 4 was Reece James, Trent, Cancelo, Chilwell, and then Livramento. Now you've got the Chilwell issue. And you obviously can't get those 3 better defenders because you've already got them, then definitely makes sense to go to someone like Alonso or maybe a Rudiger if you wanted that Chelsea clean sheet.
Or that goal. What can I say?
Yeah, indeed. So I transferred out last week.
I know. That was the poke. I was having a poke at you there. So
I enjoyed it.
Speaking of Alonso, I'll pull up him compared to Reguilon. So Reguilon we've already mentioned. I don't know what their prices are like in terms of difference.
Reguilon's 5.1, I think, and Alonso 5.6.
Yeah, so Reguilon a bit cheaper here.
Yeah.
This is how they stack up.
Yeah.
Now,
so
again, Reguilon has almost twice as many appearances, so just bear that in mind when we look at big chances created. I mean, he's twice as many appearances almost, and he's twice as many big chances created.
Yeah.
His clean sheets and stuff. You look at pretty much everything, he's almost like double, apart from goals conceded. But anyway, sorry, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, it's interesting comparing these in terms of the amount of shots they've had in, like you said, half the amount of games for Alonso, but he's had obviously 11. The only shot on target all season must have been the goal then for Reguilon. And again, these stats aren't to be sort of taken absolutely because you've got to add the context to them of the first sort of however many games for Spurs were under a different manager. Now he's playing in a completely different system. But these two are interesting, and some people haven't got Trent yet, and there's maybe, normally with Trent's in obviously amazing form and he's in my team and he's going nowhere, of course, but there's almost an argument with Cancelo, Reece James, and maybe say someone like Alonso, Livramento, or whatever. You can almost build a back line that doesn't need Trent and you save the money because Trent's up to like 7.8, 7.9 now, maybe 7.8, something like that. And so Cancelo is 1.3 cheaper. Reece James is 1.7 or 1.8 cheaper, roughly. Alonso's over 2 million cheaper than Trent. So do I think Trent outscores Alonso over the next 6? Yes. But 2 million saving is the value in these slightly cheaper guys. That's a devil's advocate kind of question. Obviously, I want to reiterate, I am team Trent. I love Trent, but that price and with nowadays, in seasons gone by, Trent has been way head and shoulders above the other defenders in terms of what he offers in FPL, but he's not that far ahead of the likes of Cancelo, Reece James, etc. now, is he? So there's an argument for going without Trent and still doing well.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I mean, Trent and Cancelo level on points, and which is crazy because you look at Trent, he's got 5 double-digit holes, and you're like, what on earth is going on there? I mean, has he missed any games? He's missed
1 or 2, has he? Yeah,
2 games. Cancelo has played the full, literally every game bar like 13 minutes, and they're level on points. But I mean, James, they're just 4 points behind. As you say, it always like the form Trent's on this season. If you hadn't seen any other game in the Premier League, but you'd only watched Liverpool games, you would say, I think, with a lot of conviction, if you were an FPL player, no one's coming close to Trent's points. There isn't a defender in the game that's coming close to Trent. But I mean,
points per game for Reece James must be better than Trent because he's missed a few games as well. And I think someone was saying this the other day. Reece James in the last 4 games has got something like 53 points or something. It's crazy. Let me just get the exact stat.
13, 21 is 34, 7. Yeah, 50, 53, isn't it?
13.25 points per game in the last 4. So, yeah, they're just. It almost feels like this season, before Chilwell's injury, we had 4 Trents. Chilwell, Reece James, Cancelo, and Trent were all. It was 4 Trents, whereas in seasons gone by, it was just Trent. So, yeah, amazing choice this year. And there's definitely, I was quite bullish maybe a few weeks ago on, sticking by 3-4-3. I think I was wrong in that. And there's definitely a huge case for being, a 4-4-2 now at the minute, especially with the strikers disappointing and these wing-backs doing incredible stuff.
I think so too. I think there's very few forwards in the sort of 6, 7, 8 million sort of range. I mean, look, for 6.6 million, you're getting Ivan Toney. Do you know what I mean? You're saving 5.5 to get Reece James. And that's the way you need to look at it. Like, I'm paid 6.7 for St. Maximin. I can pay 6.6 for Cancelo. It's crazy.
Another thing I'm considering for my own team, just to sort of digress slightly, but so my front three is Antonio, Kane, and Tony. What I'm thinking of maybe doing, if the Chilwell injury hadn't happened, I might have already done this sort of this week, but going something like Antonio to a Dennis, who's 5.3. I know, yeah, Watford, Dennis is patchy, blah, 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 but my point is Dennis would actually become my first sub. So I'd have a really good first sub. Even in tough fixtures, okay, it'll be my first sub. And then I'd play a 4-4-2. So I'd switch up maybe, I've got Loughton, who's going to sit on my bench each week. I'd switch Loughton to a Cancelo, have a 4-4-2. And instead of having it would make my sub one better, in my opinion, in Dennis. And it would also make my front 11 better playing a 4-4-2 with Cancelo in. It's just going to cost me a lot of. If I do that all this week, it would be a -8. So it's almost like I'm going to probably have to do that quite gradually. I think maybe next week just do it for a -4 instead. Do both those transfers because obviously I've got the Chilwell issue and I've also got potentially a Foden issue. So I don't know if I'll be able to achieve it, but in an ideal world, that is a tactic I'd look at. So if your team's got no injuries in and you've got that sort of thing, and maybe you've got 2 free transfers, something like that could be a really good way to go.
I'm going to pull up the last graphic here, which is Trent versus Cancelo. Just part of the conversation. We've already kind of discussed it all. But it just shows the wealth, as you say, the wealth of options here and the serious points that they're scoring, the amount of goals they're sort of contributing to, the amount of decisive actions on the pitch. It's crazy. It is. It's just mad. And I'm really looking there now thinking like Chilwell's gone out. It's who do I want? That's the question I'll end with. You're getting rid of Chilwell. Give us your order of 3 between sort of Cancelo, Reguilon and Alonso. Oh, and Reece James. Order them top to bottom 4. So that's Reece James, Cancelo, Reguilon, Alonso.
Yeah, so you're assuming everyone has Trent sort of thing.
Yeah. Or 5. Throw Trent in, I suppose.
5, yeah. I'll put Reece James top because of the money saving on Trent. I'd probably then put Cancelo second for that reason. Trent third. And again, I am a big fan of Trent. He's going over in my team. So those 3 are just amazing. So yeah, that's the top 3. And then Alonso 4th and Reguilon 5th.
Okay, so that's Reece James, Cancelo, Trent, Alonso, Reguilon.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that's going to necessarily play out in terms of the highest point scoring. Trent could easily be the highest point scorer. It's more it's taken into account their value as well.
Yeah. No, I like it. So okay, we've talked about fixtures, Chilwell replacement Spurs. We'll have a quick look at our teams, will we? Self-indulgent for 5 minutes, bang out some quick fire questions, something like that.
Yeah, just as you're bringing that up, John. And if you want my team, I have sent it in a link to your Twitter DM.
I found you. I went and found you.
Perfect. Well, someone said to me just as you're doing that, someone's asked if I worked in finance. I don't know if he's setting up a little joke here or something. But no.
I have a feeling you're about to be insulted.
I hope so. I was getting on the FPL show yesterday. They set me up. They didn't tell me they were going to do it, and James Richardson just went straight in for the kill with just ripping me about taking out Rudiger. So luckily I knew he'd done it as well, so I just ripped him back a bit.
That was a little bit Rudiger of him.
It was. Woo. Get a buzzer in there. But no, I don't work in finance. I work in FPL.
He works in FPL, baby. The dream job.
Yeah, or the nightmare job if it's been the last 5 game weeks of Red Arrows.
Yeah, 388k and he's professional. Let that sink in. The pressure is on to redeem that rank. Otherwise, Wes's kids don't eat.
There's my hand shaking.
But anyway, so yeah, in terms of our teams, right, let's see, who are we starting with? Let's just see which one I have selected here. For God's sake. It's me. So we'll talk about me, Wes, and then you can make us feel bad before we move on. So I actually had a great week. I got 78 points. I had Rudiger, Chilwell, Trent at the back, big at the back. Livramento was there. Steele came in for Sanchez, got 2 points. Salah captain, Foden, Son, Antonio, and then the 2 lads. I kept patience. St. Maximin got a 10-pointer for me, which was lovely. Going to keep him towards the Norwich fixture, I think. And Ivan Toney got a goal, which I was glad to see. So 78 points. I think my rank went from I don't know, I think it was 585 to 436. So again, we're back in the right direction.
Yeah. I remember we discussed St. Maximin last week, and I was saying, wasn't I, that you can't, with those fixtures, you have to keep him now, because at that point he had 3 out of the next 4 at home and 3 really good home fixtures. He's got Arsenal this week that might be tough, but apart from Other than that, yeah, you had to keep hold. I know a lot of people went for Callum Wilson. That made sense as well, didn't it?
Mm.
But obviously, yeah, St. Maximin came through for you, so yeah, could be a good asset again now.
And I'm very, very tempted to take a -4 this week, but I don't think I need to. I'm going to have a look, but I'm definitely get rid of Chilwell probably for James or Cancelo. But I'd love to get Cancelo in as well, if I'm honest. But again, against West Ham, it's maybe not one of those where you need to take a -4 for it. But basically, I haven't really looked at my transfers. I wanted to have this conversation with you before I did. I've pulled your team up on the screen now, so 56 points. Gameweek rank 4.5 million odd. You've lost a bit of rank there. You were 1 point off the average and you took a -4, so you were a wee bit off.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, just poor week for me, wasn't it? I'm just waiting for it to load on your screen, but sorry, on my screen, I mean. But yeah, just another poor week. Fifth red arrow in a row. Again, transfer. Again, it seems to be a theme of transferring out players who have done well or benching players who have done well. So yeah, frustrating. And even if you see there, I've got some good points off players like Trent, Chilwell, and Salah, but kind of everyone had Salah and everyone had him captain. Virtually everyone had Trent, and if they didn't, they at least had Cancelo, who scored similarly. Most people had both. And then, yeah, even Chilwell getting a clean sheet was. I'd have probably rather Chelsea conceded because most people had double. Strikers were disappointing. Tony obviously got the one goal, but yeah, it's been. And Rafinha obviously missing out meant Duffy came off my bench. So yeah, really, yeah, just another poor game week. I have nothing much else to say. My team's not awful. There is a mixture of getting some bad luck in there, but yeah, I'm definitely owning my bad decisions. Or, yeah, I'm definitely not. I'm not a believer in blaming luck at all. I blame myself first and acknowledge that there was obviously a portion of bad luck. But yeah, all good.
Yeah.
I'm still confident of ploughing on this week. I just need to. I'm not too sure what I'm going to do. Maybe Chilwell will obviously become someone like a Reece James or Cancelo, but Foden, yeah, just need news on him. I can't really lock in my team yet without all the news, and I'm sure you're probably the same.
Yeah, it's hard because I mean I like the cash there in Foden, to be honest with you, but he's one of those that you wouldn't really want to get rid of if he's going to be playing. But yeah, I think it's one of those ways, like with that team, you look at my team, I still have the likes of Cody and Gray and St. Maximin and whoever's sniffing about, and it's one of those where like people all think, I think later in the season, you've a few less excuses to be tight to the template and, sort of playing the game as optimal as possible and having the right players. But I think at this stage in the season, all it takes is one or two. Like I had an early enough wild card and it didn't work out amazing. And now, because of that, the hangover, the amount of legwork for me to try and move to the players that I actually want. I mean, in terms of equity and in terms of what you actually want to do, it's not worth the amount of point hits I'd need to take to get to that optimal team of the perfect back five and the whatever midfield and, having Jota and having this. I just can't do it without taking -16. So it's about doing small incremental changes over weeks. And you look like a chump when you hit a bad score because it's like, well, why would you pick St. Maximin? Why have you still got Damari Gray? It's because I've had bigger bloody fires to fight because I haven't had a great season so far. Albeit, yes, I'm a chump, but it's like, do you not think I know it's a shit player?
Yeah, I know. I know what you mean, because like this, in an ideal world, I'd have 6 free transfers in the bank. I could move out Antonio, both my Brentford players. I'd get in Cancelo and Reece James. I'd move to a 4-4-2. But it's like you say, it's difficult when you haven't used your transfers. And when I've taken certain, I could have saved a transfer last week. It would definitely worked out better if I did points wise. But you can't predict it out. I couldn't predict that Kane was going to hit the post against Leeds and it wasn't going to squirm in or whatever. And Rudiger scored a goal against Leicester. That could have not happened. Leicester were a decent team. They could have scored. So it's all ifs and buts. And yeah, I don't really like you can't look back too much at hindsight of
Heisenberg. No.
Indeed. And what do you always say, John, about a bad bet can work and stuff like that? So
yeah, it's about your decision. It doesn't matter about the outcome. It's the decision that matters.
Yeah, and I'm still fairly happy with most of my decisions this season. Even in this last 5 game weeks, yes, I could have played it differently and I'd have had a load more points now. But I played it how I played it. I've had strong logic to do it every time. Of course, I've thought it through and it just hasn't worked out. That's the game at the end of the day. If it was easy, if you always made the exact right transfers and never benched anyone who got a haul or whatever, then you'd literally be number 1 in the world. So, yeah, I'm fairly happy. Like you said, I'd love to be able to. I'd love to have another wild card right now and change my structure, go big at the back, but it's just very hard to do for me without a big points hit because I'm getting because there's a bit of bad luck with the likes of Foden injury, Chilwell injury means I can't take out players like I'd like to ditch, like I said, Antonio, but how can I take out a fit player if I've got 2 injured ones? So that's my thinking there.
I'm starting to get creeped out with. My dog has been hovering around the whole time. Normally he just goes to his bed, but he's been proper hovering the whole time. And like in horror movies, whenever that means that there's like a ghost nearby or someone died here, do you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, why is he being a wee freak? What is happening?
Let's rattle out some quick fire questions.
Moving quickly on. I did have something to say though, but I think it's gone. I think my dog distracted me. Oh yes. Are you ready for a fight? Are you ready for a scrap? Because would you believe that there's 200 people here that haven't hit like? And 2 of them actually hit dislike. So at the minute, our percentages aren't great. We're in trouble.
Dislikes aren't showing on my screen for some reason. It just says 70 likes and that's it.
I've got 67 likes and 2 dislikes. Yeah, so basically, everyone, it's Black Friday. You can get 10% off Friendship with John if you hit the like button. I'm a nice guy. Be my friend. Shake my hand. You know, let's go for a pint together. Let's be friends. But
go for a pint in Barcelona.
Go for a pint in Barcelona. Wes, it's funny, like, because we used to have the captaincy chat every week, and it was such a debate. And now it's like something that doesn't even cross my mind because it's just like Salah.
Yeah.
Is there anyone else you'd think about?
Yeah, we don't need to take too long on this. In terms of just going to get out this week's fixtures. In terms of, we said we was going to look ahead to the next game week 14 as well. So in terms of captains to game week 14, Salah away at Everton probably still the choice, but it's too hard to, something could happen. Salah might be an injured out or something or whatever. So you've got to judge it at that time really. But yeah, I think Salah's at home to Southampton. The only other player I'd really want to go for is probably Trent. The other captaincy options at the minute with sort of form, Chelsea, Man United play each other, and as much as I back Chelsea to beat Man United with a clean sheet, would you want to captain Reece James in that game when Salah's got Southampton at home? Probably not. It's still probably a stretch too far. And likewise with something like Cancelo, yes, a good chance for a clean sheet, but at home against West Ham are decent. So Salah's still in supreme goal scoring form, isn't he? And he's still got a good fixture with Southampton at home. So I don't know. I wouldn't be, if someone came to me and said I want to captain Reece James or Cancelo or Trent this week, I wouldn't tell them they're wrong and they have to captain Salah. But for me, I can't move away from Salah at the minute. Just can't.
Yeah, it's nailed for me. It'd be interesting in like 2 weeks. I always act like I'm going to be the big man and get creative, and I never do it. But I'm kind of like in 2 weeks, Newcastle play Norwich. I'm keeping St Maximin to then. I don't know if he gets another goal next week. If he hits another 10-pointer and then Norwich,
why not?
Who knows? I'll still pick Salah, but I'll make you all think I'm thinking about it. But we'll do some quick fire questions. A question actually to open this up, which isn't quick fire, Wes, because I do want to know your opinion. Rubber Ducky does too. What's your opinion on EO?
Yeah, so effective ownership is something that I don't follow at all, and it's for me. I really hate doing it. I think I might have said this last week, but basically what I did last season, because I was flying high around 4K, game weeks 37 and 38, I did quiver a little bit. I started checking those sort of things, and I played my game to try and protect my rank, and it was a big mistake, and I dropped down to around 7K. If I'd have played my game normally, forgot all that, I'd have gone probably up from 4K to maybe 2K. It doesn't matter, it's my own mistakes, but what I'm trying to get at is I've never played like that. I don't like to do it. I like to pick my own players for whatever reason. If they end up being template, they're template. If they're differential, they're differential. Can you remember at some point last year, John, I had Rashford, Martial and Bruno Fernandes. I think I had the United triple attack. So normally my team is probably fairly template, just because, but not for template's sake. I don't bring someone in because they're template. I bring them in because they're a good option. So I'm really anti sort of following those things.
Well, there we go. So it's time for some quick fire questions. You know how it works by now, I hope. But if you don't, basically for the next 10 minutes, we will answer as many of your questions as we can. And they need to be A or B style questions. You can chuck in a C if you're feeling naughty. Or yes or no style questions. If it's not either of those, we're just going to say go away. So, Rafinha to Jota for a hit. Yes or no? It's the only way you can get Jota.
I lost your sound there, John.
Oh, have you got me now?
I have now, yeah.
Oh, okay. Don't know what happened there. Rafinha.
It just literally for about 3 seconds it blocked out. Sorry.
Probably lag. Would you go Rafinha to Jota for a hit?
Probably not. Rafinha's fit. No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
And I've got a similar dilemma, so no.
Foden to Jota and or Diaz to Alonso.
Say that one again, sorry.
So would you go Foden to Jota and or Diaz to Alonso? So which one are you prioritising? Probably Foden. Well, it depends on the injury.
Yeah, if Foden's out, I'd prioritise that one, and then I'd stick with Diaz for this one over Alonso. So yeah, I'd prioritise that one first, and then you in the category of sort of doing the Diaz to Alonso for a -4. Diaz probably likely to start. He's had a rest recently. City, good chance of getting a clean sheet, so maybe a 6 point for Diaz. Is Alonso going to get at least 10 points to break you even? Probably not. And it is United, so yeah, let's see how Alonso gets on in his first game in that scenario.
This question. So Chilwell to James for a hit that involves Antonio, so he's obviously getting rid of Antonio as well. Or do you just go Chilwell to Alonso for free?
I'd be tempted to say Chilwell. I feel like James is such a superior, not necessarily such a supreme asset at the minute that I'd really want to get him. And what you can do by that is you can free up a lot of money from Antonio now and go down to the likes of a Dennis or even a Pookie. That frees up a lot of cash. And then it allows James this week. And then in the future, it means probably the following week, you can almost get Alonso and do a 4-4-2 like I was saying. So that's why, yes, normally I'd sort of be against the -4 if you can get another good asset like Alonso, because I do think Alonso is a good asset as well, but James is so good at the minute that I'd do the -4.
Pookie or Benteke?
I was asked this on the FPL show actually, and I said Pookie at the time, but it's difficult. Pookie's a bit cheaper, doing well. Benteke is doing well in an attacking side as well. That's something we should probably talk. I know this is meant to be quick fire, John, but I just want to make a point on Crystal Palace because Benteke has been one of those players that's been like a joke player, hasn't he? But he is now not a joke player. He's performing well, and Crystal Palace as a team are much more attacking. So Benteke's played in the Roy Hodgson side for what, 2 or 3 years before this season. So we're basing him on a team that was really defensive, and now he's back to doing the business. So yeah, tough one. I'd say Benteke is probably the better option, but Pookie saves a little bit of extra money. Really tough that one.
Do you start McCarthy or Foster?
I think Foster probably. McCarthy's got Liverpool away, hasn't he?
I think, yeah.
And then Watford got? I forgot. Leicester away, isn't it? Yeah, Leicester aren't as good as Liverpool is one of the best attacking teams in Europe right now, aren't they? So yeah, for that reason, I think they're both probably going to blank, but I'd edge towards Foster.
Do you bench White or Antonio?
Oh, possibly bench Antonio. And you know me, John, I usually go side with the striker or the forward player, but yeah, White, Arsenal decent defensively at home to Newcastle, whereas Antonio's got City. So yeah, that's my reasoning.
Whereas my dog is literally lying on my feet. I don't know, he's being weird, so I'm gonna post a photo to Twitter. If anyone wants to see it, you can go and come back or check afterwards. Can you
grab your webcam and point it down there or not?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think it'll actually stretch there, to be honest with you. But yeah. I've
take a picture.
It's on Twitter now. He's literally just bammed out on my feet. It's kind of weird, and you'll notice I'm wearing short socks. Don't judge me. Anyway, I've posted it to Twitter. He never does this. It's kind of cute. So let's see. Next one. Michael Ritchie will answer the Kit Kat question at the end. We'll do a couple of minutes of random ones. Wildcard active. Who would you pick to break the template? Now it's not in our style, but pick one player that's a bit of a rogue. If you had to pick one sort of differential, who are you picking for a wild card?
I'm just looking at that picture of your dog. I've just pulled it up. So a differential at the minute. You know what? I'm not sure. Let's come back to that. I want to have a little look to see who is actually a differential in terms of the. So I just need to go onto FPL and bring that up. So yeah, let's come back to that one. Yeah,
now,
for sure.
People should be able to see on the picture now a picture of my feet covered in dog hair. The trouser leg there. Yeah. Bammed out. This is my current setup. Back we go. Armstrong or King?
King.
Triple captain? Yeah. Nope. Not even answering that one. That's a crazy call. That's too crazy.
Wait. I know it's quick fire, and I'm not really being quick fire, but just on that quickly, Sarr missed 2 penalties in that Man United game, didn't he? So he's possibly off penalties anyway, and he's out injured. King, I think he's scored 12 out of 12 Premier League penalties. That could be completely wrong, but he's got a good record for sure. So King could be on penalties for Watford. Fixtures are tough, but you can bench him for his tough fixtures. And then, like I said, I keep saying it, but switch to something like a 4-4-2.
Is it time to get rid of Antonio?
Yeah, if there's no other problems, I'd downgrade and in terms of monetary value and reinvest that.
Would I be mad to get rid of Antonio, Foden if he's injured, Chilwell, and take a -4?
Is that a question from you?
No, there's someone in the comments called
right.
John Schmellis.
Yeah, it's definitely you. That seems like a good shout, and you're really improving your team there, setting it up well for this busy period whilst only taking a -4. So I think it makes sense. If Foden's obviously not injured, then you could save yourself the -4 and just do the other two out.
Okay. Get out of here, John L. Rafinha to Jota or save for 2 transfers next game week?
I'd probably say Rafinha is doing well in terms of, I think it's 5 goals in 10 starts. So I probably would hold Rafinha. And he's being quite frustrating, like missing games here and there, but he is back now in training. So I think that could be a transfer that could go wrong, that one. So I probably wouldn't do it. I'd wait and have the 2 frees and then you can reassess.
Havertz to Jota. So Chilwell to Alonso and Havertz to Jota for a -4? Or do you just...
I think I would. I think I don't know too much about the Havertz injury situation. I think he was flagged. He's not really getting the returns. The way Chelsea seems to set up that number 9 for Chelsea, ever since Tuchel's been in charge, doesn't get many goals. It's almost like a decoy for the wing-backs and the other players to get in there. So we all know the stats about how many goals from defenders Chelsea have got. So yeah, for that reason, Jota's in much better form, a bit cheaper. And I know it's a minus, but yeah, I think that works out well over the next few weeks. I've got my differential question, John, and I'll go for Trossard, 3.2% owned according to the FPL site, and playing as number 9. Not pulling up trees so far. Scored against Liverpool, scored against Newcastle, blanked versus Villa. Fixtures were okay. Leeds, West Ham, Southampton, Tottenham and Wolves in the next 5. So no really hard game there. So yeah, Trossard, nice differential.
I like it. Do you play Antonio or Azpilicueta?
Probably Antonio. I know. Obviously, I don't think Azpilicueta is going to start. Is he? He hasn't started for probably 4 Premier League games.
I think people are kind of thinking with Chilwell out, Azpilicueta will be wangled in there somewhere. But
I just think it'll be. I feel like it'll be a straight swap for Alonso, and then Azpilicueta still won't play. And if Azpilicueta is going to start in your team, I know he's probably unlikely to come on. But if they're running down the clock and they need some experience last 10 minutes, Azpilicueta might come on. So no, in that scenario, I would start Antonio.
Hwang or King?
I think they're winding us up there. Say both those names next to each other, John.
Oh my goodness!
But it could be a legit question. They're a similar price.
I don't know. Maybe either you're a dirty bad. Didn't say it. That's twice actually. I've held back. Either you're really bad or Anthony's played a blinder.
No, yeah, well, it could be a serious question, to be fair. They're both similarly priced strikers who have done well for their price this season, so we'll answer it seriously. Out of those two, I prefer King. I know Watford have got a couple of tricky fixtures. I just still prefer King. I think if I was going to go for a Wolves striker, I'd stretch to Jimenez, and I just don't trust Hwang to be a sustainable asset, really. Whereas with Josh King, I do. Also, like I said, consider Dennis as well, even a little bit more cheaper, and 3 double-digit hauls, I think, for Dennis this season. So for a 5 million-ish striker, that's good.
Donny wants to know, he says with the best periods in FPL, I'll take that. For United's great run of fixtures, is Ronaldo from game week 16, get off Spurs, vital to have, going 2 premium with Salah?
Yeah, so just on the beards comment, someone earlier was like, oh yeah, that's why you've had a haircut, Wes, and all that sort of stuff, because normally I look like a tramp. So yeah, I had to have a haircut for the FPL show.
Not holding back, I look like a tramp.
Yeah. So United, yes, their fixtures turn very nice soon. And I guess, yeah, if you've got someone like Kane and he's not performing in the next couple of games, and obviously Spurs' good run of fixture will then be coming to an end, could be a good move. I guess there's an argument to go without a premium striker in terms of Ronaldo or Kane. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how United... It's a nice period to get in. So United have got 2 hard fixtures. I think they got Chelsea and Arsenal back to back, and then Palace. So yeah, we can see how the manager fits in, see how Ronaldo gets on under them. Will Ronaldo play every game during this busy period, given his age? Solskjaer will be resting for one Premier League game, so there's that to consider. And when an asset is, maybe like a Foden price, you can maybe accept a benching every now and again, but for 12 point odd million, could be hard to take that. So yeah, it's definitely not. I don't see him being a must-have, but he could be a really good option because their fixtures are incredible. You'd think Rangnick will get him playing better, etc., etc. So yeah, wait and see. Watch Man United's, even if you're not interested in their games or whatever. Watch the highlights with interest. See how Ronaldo, etc., is playing because he's still scoring goals in the Champions League, isn't he? So if he can convert that into Premier League form, then yeah, we're gonna have a really good asset with a really good fixture run as well, and especially it's going to coincide quite well with Salah going to the African Cup of Nations. So I guess we're going to need those captaincy options in our team fairly soon-ish when Salah's off to the Cup of Nations. So that's going to captaincy will be wide open sort of late December and into January.
Dave says here apparently on Foden that they are training Phil and Jack. They are much better, especially Phil.
Oh, fantastic, Dave! That is great news. Good lad.
So RT Whitby loves Huang King, and John Bernal's doubling up on Huang King, which is great to see. Bernardo or Gundogan?
It's not swearing or rude. It's just we're just talking about FPL players, so
yeah,
nothing wrong with that.
No.
Say again. Sorry, what was your question?
Bernardo or Gundogan?
Oh, that's interesting. We should have probably spoken about again. Sorry, I know I'm not doing quick fire very well today, but it's an interesting point because a lot of people are talking about Bernardo actually, and I don't know. He's playing really well from a football point of view for City. Probably the form of his life. Undroppable. Played a lot of, hasn't really been rotated, etc., etc. So he's avoided Pep Roulette. So he's one of those. Again, I won't put people off getting him, but I don't know. I'm just not going to go there just because I don't trust him as an FPL asset over the years, John. Has he ever really been an asset where, he's kind of played well in games, maybe even got man of the match, but he's kind of just, been good in centre midfield and kept the game, played really well, but not got the goals and assists. I know he's got some this season, and we have to take that into account, and I get it. So he's gone from being an asset I'd avoid normally to now being kind of I'm on the fence with, if that makes sense.
No, I hear you. So Wes, we'll answer one more and then we'll answer maybe one or two silly ones and we'll go home. So if anyone wants to chuck in your non-FPL this or that, hit us with them. Is there any there that you want to answer?
No, good. I'm just letting you reel them off. I'm seeing some more comments about the Foden and Grealish stuff as well, so that sounds all good.
Okay, I'm going to say start Livramento or Brown Hill.
Livermento's fixture's awful, isn't it? But Brownhill just offers not very much, so I'd probably just start. I'd ideally not start either of those, but if I had to pick one of those, I'd start Livramento.
Okay, that's great. So we'll go back to the Kit Kat question. I believe it was regular Kit Kat or chunky. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm a chunky guy every day.
Oh, really? Yeah. They're quite sickly, though, towards the end of a chunky, so I'll go regular.
The end's the best bit. That's when you get like the bit of chocolate. And also, for the record, everyone in the comments, if you repeatedly ask the same question, I purposely ignore it. Just so you know. So yeah, there we go. That's a bit passive. That's not passive aggressive. That's straight up aggressive. That's straight up. Let's fight.
It's assertive, and
it's assertive. Like it. Yeah.
It's not and on a serious point, it's not obviously because essentially we could miss other people's questions if people are spamming. So yeah, please don't spam. It's just not fair to everyone else.
Yeah. So would you take up? Do you know what? I reckon you're. Do you know what? I'm definitely a shower guy, but bubble bath or shower, I wouldn't be surprised if you're a bubble bath guy. You look like that type of guy. You genuinely
do. Normally a shower after football, so after I play five-a-side, I have a bath, but not so much a bubble bath, just a regular bath.
I played five-a-side last night. I went to the physio yesterday. Basically, I've got wrecked ankles from years of rugby. Yeah. And I went to the physio to get it sorted, and it looks good. Going to get it sorted. Bit of tissue to work through for whatever else. Went to five-a-side last night. Bought a new GoPro. I'm a GoPro now because I'm obviously going to be doing this vlog thing next week.
Yeah.
And basically, I stuck it up on the top right corner of the net, and I was like, "This is great." And I was playing against it, and I said to myself, "I'm gonna have to aim for the top corner all night." I scored 2 belters in the top right, and I didn't hit record.
Oh no!
You'd have seen chubby Jack Grealish running about.
Is that you?
Dixie? Well, no, I actually have a mate who we call Chubby Jack Grealish. He's actually called Chubby Asian Jack Grealish. I'll send you a photo of him if you want. But shout out to Rick. But no, I don't know what I'm like. I like to think of myself as kind of like a playmaker, do you know?
Yeah.
A bit of a playmaker. I don't know, maybe a Mesut Ozil type character. Very lazy.
I like it.
But I'll put you in for a goal, you know? But maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Are there ever any like big FPL, like 5-a-side or 10-a-side games? 11-a-side, sorry. Do they ever do that?
Yeah, I've just seen a ridiculous comment from John L, which we're not going to address. But yeah, no, funny enough, actually, there's a Benny Blanco on Twitter. I don't know if you follow him, but he's a funny guy. He just tweets sort of one-liners all the time and makes them sort of FPL related. They're good. But he and some others were organising what they're marketing as Gameweek 39, and it's going to be played late in May, and it's going to be played in Birmingham in England, and it's going to be 11-a-side, North versus the South. In terms of players, people are coming from all over to play, to be fair, and I'm going to be playing in that as well, so that's going to be good fun, hopefully.
Maybe I'll be famous enough for the year after that I'll get invited.
Get yourself down, drop him. I reckon you can probably get involved. Probably.
Don't expect running, but if you want me to feed through, if you've got agile players, you know, I'll put the ball in the tuppence ways. I'm telling you.
Get onto him then.
Do you know who I'm going to be? And I know I'm going to be that guy. You know what, like 35 or like 40, I'm going to be the guy sitting in the pub who says, I could have made it if it wasn't for my ACL. Do you know, like I could have played for Ireland. I had trials. I had this. You know those guys? They're everywhere. The fat guy in the corner sculling pints saying I could have played for such and such. Anyway.
I like saying that in my own head, and then I kind of catch myself saying it. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No way. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I'm actually shit at football, everyone. But on to night out at the pub or Netflix takeaway.
Probably Netflix takeaway. These guys, John. I'm a very boring man.
It depends who I'm with. If I'm with the lads, I'm going out to the pub. If I'm with my girlfriend, probably Netflix and takeaway. Because I'm shit whenever me and my girlfriend go out. I was only talking about this in a podcast recently. Because you normally go out for dinner and then I drink too many pints and then I just get a food coma and I'm too full and I don't really talk. I just kind of sit there. I'm crap. But Wes, Paul H is getting creative in the comments. I enjoy it. I mean, that's a solid team. I don't know if I can be arse going there, but anyway. Adam or Fergie? Fergie or Adam? Who are you picking?
Fergie or Adam? Ooh, tough one. I like them both. I work closely with Fergie. We do more stuff for Hub together, so we're chatting about all Hub related stuff more often. So I know Fergie a bit better, so I'll go Fergie. But that's nothing against Adam.
I don't know Adam, so I have to go Fergie.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. Part of me could have went Adam, and then we could have split it up. But
I think Fergie won 75k on the Sun Dream team last year, didn't he? But I think Adam's got the better FPL record. So if we're talking FPL player, Adam's probably pipping it. But overall fantasy, 75k would say Fergie.
What I find amazing every week, Wes, is that people don't like leave now. I can't believe there's still nearly 300 people here. Anyway, yeah.
This is better than our FPL content, John. We're talking more sense now than when we talk about FPL.
Yeah. At least we know what we're talking about when it comes to cauliflower cheese and Brussels sprouts. I'm all over cauliflower cheese.
Yeah, cauliflower cheese for sure.
Absolutely. Wonder could you make like Brussels sprouts cheese? Would that work, or would that just be weird?
I'd probably eat it. Yeah.
I'd give it a go.
Yeah.
Try anything once.
Anything with cheese on, I'd eat.
Yeah. I'd try anything once. Do you know what? I'd even try switching my FPL team up to have like wanking me cock in there. I'll try anything once.
Yeah, not a bad choice. Ben Mee has got Tottenham this week, so could be a bit tough. But yeah, why not?
It could be a tough one. But yeah, right. Enough of
this. Change
that
to your team name. They'll probably ban you.
Yeah. Right. Wes, I think we should go. Our viewers are going up as we're doing this. We should do like a non-FPL podcast. But everyone, before you leave, please do find us on Twitter. I'm John Nellis. That's FPL Heisenberg. And please do us a favour and like before you leave, because I know you're not coming back once you leave. So just click the wee button before you go, and obviously subscribe to Fantasy Football Hub's YouTube channel. So yeah, that's about it, isn't it?
Yeah, cheers everyone, and see you again
next week.
We might be going on a Thursday, but watch out for tweets and keep the notifications on Hub's YouTube as well, so you'll get notified and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. It'll be next Thursday, if at all. I'm around Thursday, but I'm flying away on Thursday night, so I won't be here to host it on Friday. So, yeah, hopefully next Thursday, a bit earlier than usual. Hopefully see you there.